Jerk chicken is everything grilled chicken should strive to be. It's succulent, it's smoky, it's spicy. In more ways than one, it really is the ideal summer food. Now, this isn't some easy weeknight low-cal type situation, right? This is real deal cooking. The entire process is going to take you some time, but I assure you, it's definitely worth it. To make jerk chicky, we need chicky. For jerk, I prefer dark meat, but this is a good opportunity to quarter a whole bird, so that's what's going on here. Using a flexible sharp knife, begin making short, shallow cuts where the drumstick meets the rib cage, then hyperextend the leg back to dislocate the joint that connects the thigh to the chicken. Flip le bird over and follow down the spine. Brownie points if you can keep the succulent oyster meat intact, then follow through, and that, mi amigos, is a whole chicken leg. 4 quarters makes $1, 2 legs and 2 breasts make a whole quartered chicken, so flip the bird on its back, remove the spine and save it for stock, then grab your favorite big boy knife and cut it down the middle. There it is, a whole quartered chicken. Now if you ask me, this is the best way to eat chicken breast, bone in, skin on, but pack those up, we're gonna save them for later because today is all about the dark meat. The secret to juicy chicken, I get this question all the time, is brine, or in other words, a salty, sometimes aromatic soaking solution for your meat. Make a 1% brine by weighing out 1% of the weight of the meat minus any bone weight plus the water. I'll put all of the information that you need to know for brining below, equation and all, and don't worry, if I was able to do it, I have faith that you can too. It's really not that hard. Pour half the water into a saucepan, then add the aromatics, followed by sugar, our measured kosher salt, and a few spices. Stir that together over medium heat just until it begins to simmer. The goal here is to dissolve the sugar and salt and partially infuse the water with the aromatics. Think of it like tea. Pour the hot infused portion of the brine into the remaining portion. We don't want to poach the chicken in hot liquid, so this just helps speed up the time in which it takes to cool down. Pop all the chicky into the brine, close her up, and that goes in the fridge to juicify for 24 hours. Now, let's talk jerk paste. Okay, so this might look like a lot of stuff, mostly because it is. These are called scotch bonnet chilies here. These peppers are awesome, they're super spicy, but they might be hard to find depending on where you live, so feel free to sub them out for habaneros if you must. First things first, let's toast off our spices. A good jerk paste needs good spices. This blend is listed below. Toasting spices whole and grinding them as needed makes a huge difference, so that's what I'm doing here. This is tamarind. It's a tangy sour fruit that grows in pods. You can buy it in paste form or pulverized and de-seeded like this. To use it, soak it in hot water for an hour, then pass it through a mesh strainer. I do this every so often and keep the paste in my fridge. It lasts for a few weeks in there. You can take the seeds out if you don't want it as spicy, but I'm a spicy boy, so I'm gonna leave them in. When processing the jerk paste, add the harder, larger ingredients and liquids first to help break them up. Then add in the rest of the ingredients, which include some vinegar, neutral oil, that fresh tamarind paste that I was just talking about, some dried thyme for extra grassiness, the spices, a bit of molasses for sweetness and color, and of course a pinch of salt. At this point it's going to be pretty runny, which is exactly why we're going to reduce it down. Pop the paste in a medium saucepan over medium heat and bring it up to a simmer. The reduction process is going to make our paste more pasty, I guess, while also helping it infuse with flavor. This shouldn't take more than 5 or 6 minutes. Go for something like this and keep in mind that it will thicken more as it cools down. Oh, and don't forget to taste it. It should be tangy, heavily spiced, and spicy. Oh yeah. Let it cool a touch, then transfer it to a container and put it in the fridge for later. The next day, our chicky should be fully brined and ready to go. Extract le chicky from le brine, and if there are any spices stuck to the legs, just brush them off. Pat the legs dry with some paper towel. If the chicken is kept wet, the paste won't stick to them as easily during the next step. The jerk paste is going to be thicker the next day than it was when we first made it, which is a good thing. When slathering these boyos, be generous with the jerk paste, right? I'm talking half, maybe a little more than half. Jerk chicken is bold, it's spicy in more ways than one. It's supposed to punch you in the face, so, don't be shy. My recipe makes about 2 cups of paste, so spoon on about 1 cup's worth, somewhere around there. Then get in there and give that chicky a massage it'll never forget. If you do this the morning of, it'll be ready to use by the evening. However, for best results, you're going to want to let this mingle in the fridge overnight, so that's what I'm going to do. With the remaining half of the jerk paste, we're going to make a sauce, specifically a barbecue sauce, specifically a jerk barbecue sauce. Grab your favorite BBQ sauce, or if you want to make your own, I have a video for that, and mix it into the remaining cup of the jerk paste. You can control the amount of jerkiness your sauce has simply by playing with the ratios, but I like my sauce nice and spicy, so I'm going full throttle on the jerk paste. Label and lid her up, then pop her in the fridge for later. After a slumber party in the fridge, the chicken should be G to G. Finally, the day has come. All we need to do now is pop these bad boys on le smoke. There are many ways to smoke meat. Here I set up my trusty Weber kettle for smoking by keeping low coals and a chunk of wood pushed to one side, then the dripping tray on the other. It really doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is the temperature, timing, and exposure to smoke. We're going for a low temp here, somewhere between 200 and 225 Fahrenheit. The whole smoking process shouldn't take more than a few hours. Then lastly, try to keep the smoke light, no billowing clouds of white here. Keep it low and controlled by toggling the amount of air the coals get. Each grill is a little different, but mine has vents in the bottom and the top. Use the extra jerk paste from the container to baste the chicken periodically until they finish. Now, traditional jerk is smoked over pimento wood, but pecan, cherry, or apple would work just fine too if that's what you have. Once the chickie reads 160 degrees Fahrenheit, pull it from the grill. When the chicken is finished, it should have a crusty, dry, yet inviting looking exterior. The interior, on the other hand, should be very moist and very juicy thanks to that brine. Alright, so earlier when the chicken was smoking, my girlfriend and I threw together some side dishes. We made peas and rice, well, I guess more like rice and beans, then some crispy golden fried plantains, which is what's accompanying the chickie on the plate right here. Go ahead and brush on some of that jerk BBQ sauce from earlier, and yeah, that's a pretty balanced meal, I'd say, right there. Now, if I'm cooking this for friends, I like to chop up the pieces like this. A lot of the time, jerk chicken is sliced and diced, bone and all, before it's served, which is a pretty fun way to eat it. Where I'm from, chicken is one of those things that's often taken for granted, but, you know, jerk chicken really does a good job at sort of taking the humble chickie and turning it into something magical, magnificent, something super pungent and flavorful, and, you know, it's just great. In Jamaica, they really know how to live, they really know how to eat, and this recipe is living proof of that. Bottoms up, mi amigos. Now, where I live in Chicago, we only have a few months of hot weather. So it's foods like jerk chicken and really smoked anything that I really enjoy making during the summer months. You know, the stuff that takes a long time, but in the end is oh so delicious and satisfying. I hope this video has gotten you at least one step closer to jerk Valhalla, or at least inspired you or entertained you in any sort of way, and if it did, please consider subscribing, liking the video, all that nonsense, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching until the end, thank you for being here, cook on, and I will see you all next week. Later.